Following World War II, numerous German officers and collaborators, hailing from France, Croatia, and various parts of Europe, sought refuge in search of a fresh start. Aware of the potential consequences of their actions, many sought to evade trial and judgment for their wartime activities, aiming to escape the looming shadow of the Nuremberg trials. However, the question remains, why did a considerable number of them opt for Argentina as their destination of choice? As the Allies raised their flags in Berlin and the German instrument of surrender was signed on May 8, 1945, it became evident to these individuals that neither Germany nor the broader European continent offered a safe haven for their continued existence or concealment. Despite the collapse of the regime and the cessation of hostilities in Europe, the extensive network they had cultivated remained intact. Former sympathizers persisted, and the revelation of the regime's atrocities didn't suddenly dawn on everyone the day World War II ended in 1945. Even in defeat, numerous influential figures in Europe continued to advocate for the cause. Spain, for instance, although officially neutral, maintained friendly ties with Germany under the leadership of Francisco Franco. Amidst the aftermath of its civil war, Spain served as a sanctuary for many fugitives, serving as a pivotal stepping stone to other destinations. Additionally, certain influential figures in Switzerland openly voiced their support for Germany, affording them the means to assist those seeking refuge. Furthermore, the Catholic Church played a significant role in aiding some of these fugitives, with several high-ranking church officials actively facilitating their escape. With a narrow window of opportunity to evade justice and potential trials, those seeking to flee had to swiftly weigh their options and forge new identities abroad. In Argentina, President Juan Domingo Perón eagerly embraced former Axis members, harboring admiration for the prevailing German ideology. With the assistance of his diplomats and intelligence agents stationed in Europe, Perón facilitated the escape of numerous war criminals, extending a warm welcome to them upon their arrival in Argentina. Argentine authorities facilitated their transit through routes from Italy via Spain to Buenos Aires. Throughout World War II, Argentina notably favored the Axis powers, owing to its president and strong cultural connections with Germany, Italy, and Spain. As a former Spanish colony, Argentina's independence in the early 19th century was marked by extensive migrations of Italians and Germans, forging enduring ties with these European nations. Given that a significant portion of Argentines were of Spanish, Italian, or German descent, Argentina leaned towards a pro-Italian and pro-German stance. The German government recognized this sympathy and fostered special ties with Argentina. Consequently, numerous German spies operated within Argentina, while Argentine officers and diplomats held influential positions in Europe. Perón's administration embraced certain totalitarian tendencies, steering the country towards large military parades and militarization. Many influential Argentines, including wealthy businessmen and government officials, openly supported the Axis cause. Even President Juan Domingo Perón had served as an adjunct officer in the Italian army during the late 1930s. Consequently, special bonds existed between Germany, Italy, and Argentina. Despite Argentina declaring war on the Axis powers just a month before the war ended, some Argentine agents aided defeated German officers in escaping after the war. Argentina had financial incentives to accept these men, as wealthy Germans and Argentine businessmen of German descent were willing to finance the escape of fugitives. By 1945, as the Allies were eradicating the last vestiges of the Axis powers, it became evident to many that the next major conflict would arise between the capitalist United States and the communist Soviet Union. Perón and some of his advisors foresaw the emergence of a new world conflict between the Allies and the Communists. This anticipation was widely shared, and many viewed the upcoming inevitable conflict as a realistic possibility. In this looming conflict, third parties such as Argentina could potentially influence the outcome. Perón envisioned Argentina assuming a crucially important role as a diplomatic intermediary in the war, emerging as a significant actor on the world stage. Aware that these fugitive criminals held anti-communist sentiments, the Argentine president believed they could prove useful in potential conflicts between the United States and the Soviet Union. He sought to recruit more of these fugitives, particularly those with military and technological expertise, to bolster his armies and technological advancements. This strategy mirrored similar efforts by other nations, such as the United States and the Soviet Union, who also recruited scientists for military and technological purposes. Although Argentina initially represented a new home and a means to live discreetly, the situation evolved over time. As the Cold War persisted, these individuals eventually faced scrutiny and dwindling support. However, Argentina was not the sole destination in South America that welcomed them. Many others found refuge in countries like Brazil, Chile, Paraguay, and elsewhere on the continent. For those who saw Argentina as a viable option post-1945, their circumstances shifted a mere decade later, following the downfall of Peron's government in 1955. Concern arose that the new administration might view their presence on Argentine soil unfavorably, potentially leading to their deportation back to Europe. This apprehension stemmed largely from the new government's hostility toward Peron and his former policies. Over time, the significant presence of these individuals became somewhat of an embarrassment for the country. By the 1990s, most of these aging men were living openly under their own names. While a few were eventually tracked down and extradited for trials, many others seamlessly assimilated into Argentina's sizable German community, choosing to remain silent about their past. Escaping to Argentina and South America involved navigating a network of escape routes known as rat lines. These routes primarily led to Latin American countries, including Argentina, Chile, Paraguay, Colombia, Brazil, Uruguay, and others. Two primary routes were commonly used. One from Germany to Spain and then Argentina, and the other from Germany to Rome, Genoa, and then South America. This unfolded due to the receptivity of certain nations and sympathetic figures, but another significant factor was geography. In 1945, Europe offered little refuge, despite some finding themselves in countries like Portugal, Spain, or Switzerland. To the east lay the Soviet Union, with conflicts in China and Japan and allied colonies to the south. Africa was largely colonized by France and Great Britain, while the west was dominated by the United States and Canada. However, fleeing south from the US-Mexican border seemed feasible. Latin America emerged as the sole region offering genuine opportunities for a fresh start. Despite the risk of eventual capture, Argentina appeared the most favorable choice due to its government's openness at the war's end in accepting these fugitives.